What is up, y'all? It is Hunter here, as always, with Gabe. Gabe, how in the world are you doing?
Pretty good. Just watching basketball and listening to camps.
Dude, it's been crazy. Like, I was talking to Tatum about this. Sorry about that, y'all. I almost choked on my own spit. I was talking to Tatum about this last week, but we are in a time right now that's like unprecedented with coronavirus, but I'm talking like with sports. Like, we've got basketball playoffs going on, we've got football starting up, we've got MLB, who cares about that, but we've got MLB about halfway done, we've got NHL. Like, dude, this is an incredible time of year. I mean, and again, it's unprecedented, but like, I could do this every year. What about you?
Oh yeah, you love it just because there's great things come. Even in baseball, there's a few cool things. And I actually haven't heard much about NHL, but basketball and football you can't beat. I just can't wait till the football games start.
I know. Dude, that was actually, I didn't even tell you to segue. I want to talk about a real quick injury, and then I'm going to use that as a segue. So, what are your thoughts on the Gerald McCoy thing? I mean, it clearly wasn't a surprise to the Cowboys. Maybe it was, but it wasn't, because he had been dealing with some knee tendonitis, and they had that out in his contract that basically voided everything. Essentially, he got his $3 million signing bonus, and that was it. But he goes out and ruptures his quad tendon, which is a pretty gnarly injury. He ruptures that a couple days ago because of Tyrone Crawford. I mean, what are your thoughts with that?
I mean, I'm not like some medical dude or anything, but it looked really like a freak accident. Like, it looked really weird because, I mean, he's just there and then he crumbles, and it sucks for him, but I don't know if the Cowboys actually lose much on that.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, I feel like he was definitely going to be a good player for them this year, no doubt. But
I just think they have people that can replace him. That it's not that far of a drop off.
Absolutely, they got Tyrone Crawford, Neville Gallimore, second-year player out of Oklahoma. They've got Tristan Hill, if he could just actually show up on time. But no, they've got some good players that I think they may skip a slight beat. But I don't think we were going to sit here and act like this defense was going to be a top 5 defense. So maybe they go from the number, these are random numbers, let's just say the number 8 to the number, yeah. And like I said, with Tristan Hill, I think that coming out of USF last year, the dude, he was a first round talent. He just had some really not bad off the field. He was a jerk. He was a jerk to coaches, so on and so forth. So I think the Cowboys, I think they'll definitely miss a beat, seeing as though they just missed a Pro Bowler, or just lost a Pro Bowler. But I don't think that, like I was saying, I don't think this is going to drop them from, let's just say, the 8th best defense, random number, to the 32nd best defense. I think it's going to more so drop them from 8 to 13 type thing.
I don't think it'll be that big of a deal.
Yeah, I mean, and to talk about you mentioned it just looked like a freak accident. I mean, that was ruptured quad tendons so often are it's a lateral movement injury a lot of the time. I'm not a doctor, y'all, but knowing as much about the body as I do, it's more of a lateral movement type thing, and a lot of the times it's a non-contact drill or non-contact injury, and you're seeing that, and you will see that with a lot of players. And I was saying that several weeks ago, is that you're going to see a lot of these non-contact injuries that are going to put guys out, whether that's torn ACLs or whatever that would be. So, yeah, I mean, loss for the Cowboys, but I don't think that it's going to be some just like huge thing. But I mentioned your segue earlier, Gabe. You're ready for the real game. So, with that being said, I want to kind of get some predictions from you. I mean, are we going to hold each other to these? I mean, yeah, I would like to, but
for sure.
But I don't think that. I mean, guys, y'all can just give us $1 million if we happen to get all of these right somehow. But
hey,
give us your thoughts. Give us who you think's going to suck, who you think's going to be good, all the fun stuff.
We should do something. If we're right on man, we can split it between like division and stuff and the awards. I think if we're right with like every single one of our awards, then we should do like give the other person something. It doesn't have to be big, but like a hat.
Maybe
or something.
The listeners can give us something.
Yeah, like our Patreon.
Hey, I like that shameless plug. But no, I always like making predictions just because I think so often we all have these thoughts as to, hey, this is how something's going to go, and then it always blows up in our face.
Well, it's like
Always.
you can think something like so deep inside of you, like, oh my god, this is 100% what's going to happen, and then you start going, and it's like, oh wow, I was wrong. Because like even last year, I think I did some bets on things in this for the Super Bowl that I thought were like a like a gimme. Just because it was like some things with like Patrick Mahomes and the offense would like just have tons of yards and stuff. I didn't get a single one of those yardage. So it's like, what the heck?
You know, I've had that happen before, and just things that I'm like, oh, that kind of like what you were saying, like they're just gimmies. Like at the end of the day, like I mean, no doubt Patrick Mahomes is going to throw for 200 yards. I mean, what random thing? But you look up and that prop bet that you thought was just a done deal, it wasn't a done deal, and I think that talks to, or that speaks to, I should say, Las Vegas's smarts.
Oh yeah,
I mean, for all the things people talk about Vegas, like that, there's a reason they're so big, and it's because they take a lot of people's money. And yeah, casinos do, duh, and gambling does, duh, but like all these prop bets that we feel like are, oh, that's an easy win. No, like they're coming up with that not to get us rich, but to get themselves rich. It's kind of crazy.
They're like right on that line of this is possible, but no.
Exactly. And that's why Vegas would be, I want to go just to say I've been, but I don't even know why we're talking about this.
Vegas is a fun place.
But I want to go, but like I've always told Tatum, we're either going to come back billionaires or we're going to come back living under a bridge. Like there is there's like no middle ground to this.
Just get $500 and go play for a little bit.
Well, $500. Yeah.
I said a little bit.
Yeah.
Just don't do like huge bets, and you're good.
That's what we can say. So I don't think that this is going to come as a shock to anybody. But Gabe, who do you have as your most valuable player?
Okay, I'm going to give myself an out. I think,
of course, you're going to give yourself.
I think it's going to be Kyler Murray, just because I mean, with that high firing offense, passing numbers is just going to be like just going to be too good to kind of like say no. And he's a second-year quarterback. Plus, he's more eyes are getting on him. So it's kind of, I think it's pretty much of a gimme. If he doesn't get it, I say Brady, just pretty much the same reason. I mean, he's an old guy. I mean, it's a good narrative to give a 43-year-old a MVP.
Absolutely. And I think that I don't want to say I've hated it, but like, I've always hated MVP voting because it's so, I don't want to say it's rigged. That's not the right word. But like if we went for what it actually was most valuable player, it would be a quarterback every year, A. But B, like it's become more of a who has the most numbers.
And narrative.
For sure. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, so on and so forth.
I mean,
I
slightly disagree with you.
It's funny you say that because that actually goes right hand in hand with who I think is going to win. And guys, I think you're going to hear, you're going to pick up you're going to see a theme, I guess is a better way for me to say it. You're going to see a theme with these things. And I didn't even think that this was like, when we initially came up with the idea for this episode, I was like, I started thinking about who I would have in certain places, who I'd have as a Super Bowl champ, yada, yada. But I promise you that Dakota Prescott was not who I had as my MVP. But now, while y'all are listening to this, Dakota Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys is who I have as a 2020 or 29. No, what is this? 2020? Yeah. 2020, 2021 NFL MVP. Because like you said, narrative, at the end of the day, the Cowboys make the NFL money. Every team does, duh. But the Cowboys make the NFL a bunch of money very quickly, and a lot, like all the time. And I just think like he's going to have an incredible year. He just is, with all the weapons around him. The dude's going to have an incredible year. So for those reasons, and I could go into a bunch more, but we are going over all of our predictions. Those reasons and a bunch more, Dakota Prescott is going to be the MVP in my eyes.
I mean, the only reason I don't think he will is just because of Zeke being there. But it wouldn't completely shock me. I mean, last year he put up almost 5K yards, so it's not like he's getting the numbers. So, I mean, if CeeDee Lamb is as good as they think, I mean,
Michael Gallup's going to take another step. I mean, Mike McCarthy said yesterday. Mike McCarthy said Michael Gallup's the number one receiver in this league,
and that division is trash right now.
And that's actually gonna. I don't want to spoil things for later, but that's a huge reason why I think that some things are going to happen, is because that division is just god awful. It is just horrible. I'll talk about that later. So, guys, this is not an award prediction because they don't hand this award out in the NFL.
They should,
but we're going to hand it out in the 2-minute drill. So, Gabe, who is your least valuable player? Guys, kind of what we're going with the least valuable player is a guy who we think is going to be, or who should be good, whether that's off name value, whether that's off hype, whether that's off stats from last year, whatever it is, what he's done in his career, yada yada. But it's a guy that should be good, but we think next year is just gonna suck. And when I say suck, I'm not saying he's gonna get benched a week into the season. No, but he's not gonna be
live into expectations and stuff.
Exactly. So, Gabe, who is your least valuable player this year?
The quarterback I hate the most in the NFL. I mean, I'm pretty sure he is, but Philip Rivers. And the reason I say that is just because he's always put up pretty good yards. And the Colts offense should be pretty good. And he's a pretty big name going to a new team and with a great offensive line. I just don't think he's a good quarterback. I think most of it, some people think he's a Hall of Famer. I don't. I think he's always lived just on the team.
He's a Hall of Famer in terms of getting his wife pregnant.
He's never got him over the hump. He's never done anything noteworthy. Every single time they meet the Patriots in the playoffs, they lose by outrageous amounts. So I just don't think he's a good quarterback. And he throws way too many picks. He whines, throws a temper tantrum every single play. And it's just worse than any quarterback in the NFL. And quarterbacks are babies. And he tops them. So I'm not a huge fan of him.
I remember you saying that a couple weeks ago, just that you weren't a huge Philip Rivers fan. And I think with Philip, you either love him or you hate him. I don't think that there's an in-between. He's okay.
I honestly thought he was okay. And then, most likely the last time Patriots and Chargers played 2 years ago, I think that changed it. Because, he would complain about, easy calls. It's yeah, that's not pass interference. The dude was 15 yards away.
Yeah, I don't get me going with. I mean, I get it. It's just part of the game. It's gamesmanship for guys to always be complaining, especially stars, which is typically quarterbacks, or you take in the NBA, the stars of the team, or NHL or MLB, whatever. But just shut up.
I just think there's a limit. I expect all the quarterbacks to do hey, dude, they're doing this, doing it. Watch out for this.
Tom Brady, yeah, heck yeah.
But not he doesn't tell the person. He's literally your 3-year-old kid throws a temper tantrum, he matches that. Most quarterbacks don't do that.
Seriously,
they'll be they'll whine, but not like that. He's throwing temper, his face is turning red. He's throwing he's stomping on the ground. I'm what the heck? Is he about to cry?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right, and I think that he's either truthfully he's either going to have a good year with Marlon Mack, with T.Y. Hilton, with Paris Campbell, with Eric Ebron. He's either going to have a really good year or he's going to have a really bad year. And there is just no ands, ifs, or buts about that. He's going to, in theory, he should feast on that division. Granted, he plays the Texans twice a year, but he also plays the Titans. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's the best defense in the NFL. Good defense, not the best. And then the Jaguars. I don't think anybody can name you 5 players on the Jaguars.
Eric Ebron's with the Steelers now.
Okay, well, point proven. So I actually forgot about that. But he's either going to be really good or he's going to be really bad. And when I say really good, I'm talking Phillip Rivers really good. Again, he's not going to lead a team to the Super Bowl. I don't think the Colts are going to win a Super Bowl anytime soon. But I actually really do like. I really do
They're
like.
building a really good team though. Colts defense is
they're building a good team.
Offense is picking up.
They're building a good team, but at the end of the day, you can build as good of a team as you want. Like, let's just take, for example, the Celtics in the NBA. You can build as good of a team as you want, but at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, they're going to reach the juggernaut that is the Los Angeles Lakers. They're going to reach the juggernaut that is the Clippers, or they're going to reach next round if they win this round. They're going to reach the juggernaut that is the Raptors or the Bucks. I mean, like, great team, don't get me wrong, and they could make noise, but in the NFL, it's going to be the Chiefs. It's going to be the Ravens. The Patriots still, I don't think the average person can name you 5 players on that team, but until Bill proves that he can't do it, I always give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, there's just a lot of good NFL teams out there right now that I don't know. But I do, all that to be said, I really do like the least valuable player.
I mean, just one thing about the Colts. I think if Andrew Luck was still there, they would have been better.
Amen to that. Dude was so good. And that's a guy that, it's funny because like they built that team in the way that they built it because of him. I'm not talking of how he was as a player. I'm talking strictly because they recognized Chris Bullard. He recognized that this dude is getting killed every single week. We've got to build a great offensive line around him. Oh, Andrew Luck likes to roll out. Let's get him a receiving tight end. Oh, Andrew Luck likes to throw deep balls, and he has incredible deep ball accuracy. Let's bring him Paris Campbell. And T.Y. Hilton was already there, y'all. But it's just like they built that team around Andrew Luck. And of course, I mean, that's what any team does with a superstar quarterback. But I'm going to be very interested to see what they do with Phillip this year.
Me too. But,
so
who is yours
guys,
least valuable?
I see your smirk right here, Gabe.
It's so stupid.
There's a caveat to this, y'all.
It's huge.
Least valuable player does not mean just absolutely royally sucks, because at the end of the day, like, nobody is a genie. Nobody knows. Nobody's a fortune teller. We don't know what's going to happen. But when I was thinking about who I would predict is the least valuable player this year, I was thinking of a guy that was going to take a step back, and a big step back, whether that's because of X, Y, or Z. But this year, I believe the biggest step back that you will see of any player in the NFL, and I'm not pulling a Skip Bayless just talking about this just for the sake of ratings. No, I'm not. I promise you. I firmly believe Patrick Mahomes will take one of the biggest steps back in the NFL this year. So,
what makes you think that?
Guys, I'm going to, before y'all kill me,
I have my pitchfork ready, so go.
But before y'all kill me, so teams have had 2 years. And it's been proven. You could prove this with Colin Kaepernick. And I'm not saying Colin Kaepernick or Patrick Mahomes is the same player. They're actually very similar, and people don't talk about that. They are very similar. Cannons attached to their shoulders. It's just, and I see your pitchfork, Gabe. Thank you so much, sir. Very, very similar players. Very. Well, you can say Patrick Mahomes is a lot more accurate. Well, hell, I could be accurate throwing to Tyreek Hill, again, who's open by 20 yards. So there's that. Then Clyde Edwards-Helaire, best running back that Patrick Mahomes has played with thus far. Because of that, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, though he is a good receiving back and he will catch some balls out of the backfield, I would bet he catches anywhere between about 40 and 55 this year. Mark my words on that. But he has a back now that can actually run the ball. Shady McCoy wasn't able to do it with him. Damian Williams did it one game. I can't even think of other guys
Kareem
that they
Hunt
had.
was legit until he got
completely forgot about him. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be a really good running back in the NFL, I believe. And Patrick Mahomes' stats are they're just going to go down. And is that to say that he's less valuable? No, but at the end of the day, this is a stat league. It's a stat-driven league. We just said that with the MVP. It's a stat-driven league. So I think that we're going to see I don't want to say a massive drop-off. It's not like Patrick Mahomes is going to throw 20 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, and 3,000 yards or anything. But you're going to see him drop. Quite a bit. I'm not going to sit here and say like he's going to go from the upper echelon number one quarterback, and I would bet he's probably at the end of the year going to be like the number three. I don't know who's going to be better than him necessarily, but it wouldn't surprise me to see that. And in fact, I have the number 3 pick in our fantasy football draft. If Patrick Mahomes is still there, which I imagine he will be, your boy's passing on him. I imagine Patrick Mahomes will be. I will pass on him. I would pass on Patrick Mahomes until the 3rd round, if I'm being completely honest with you. I just would. But all that to be said, Patrick Mahomes is my least valuable player. Gabe, I'm kind of liking the way this episode is flowing, by the way. Talk to me about Coach of the Year. Who do we got?
Maybe it's honestly this guy is pretty much just because I have Kyler Murray to be MVP, and to do this, Cliff Kingsbury is going to have to be the Coach of the Year to bring that team to a playoff run with the MVP. And that's pretty much all. I like Cliff Kingsbury just because they did change. Like, he admitted they came out wrong pretty much. Like, he miscalculated the NFL. And they changed the offense and they started doing better. So, I mean, I like people that come up with some adversity and then they can get through it and get better and learn from it instead of just clam up and shut down. So,
no, I like that thought process. And at the end,
he's a newer coach, so they're more likely to give it to him.
You hit the nail on the head, and at the end of the day, it's who can make a turnaround, whether that's the coach's thing or the coach, to the coach's credit or not. If I'm remembering right, I believe the Cardinals were 6-10 last year. I believe so. If they're going to sit here and go 9-7, 10-6, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. And I think that Hopkins helps them that much. I'm not going to sit here and say Hopkins himself is worth 4 games, but Hopkins next to Kirk, next to Isabella, next to Fitzgerald. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. That's actually, again, a really good thought process, truthfully. My Coach of the Year, y'all. This is kind of a homer pick.
One thing to interrupt you. The Cardinals went 5-10-1. They tied with the Lions in the week 1.
Yeah, week 1. I remember watching that game. So if they go 8-8, they're already a 3-game improvement. 9-7, it's a 4-game improvement. Look back at the numbers, and if you find guys that are coaches that win the Coach of the Year, it's guys that are making a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 game jump in a year.
Super tough division.
In a very tough division. So, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Seriously, I really like that pick, truthfully. In regards to my pick for Coach of the Year, y'all, I think there is a bit of homerism to this. There is a bit of homerism to it, but I'm also, I don't know, I'm just feeling good about this year as a Bears fan. I really am. I don't know why. I really don't know why. But my Coach of the Year pick is Matt Nagy.
What do you think about Artie Burns tearing his ACL?
So he was going to be our third corner, second/third, depending upon what package they came out in. Sucked. Don't get me wrong. He was supposed to replace Prince, and Prince was a really good corner for us last year. He had really good games. He had not so good games, but it wasn't like he was just a horrible player. Arguably one of the best 2s in the league, quite honestly. And then Buster Skrine is the 3, but Artie Burns, that's a huge loss. But all that to be said, I don't really have thoughts to it as to why Matt Nagy is going to be the Coach of the Year. I just feel like this year, truthfully, I feel like at the end of the year, we're going to look up and we're going to see a team that is 11-5 or 12-4 in Chicago, because they had a lot of games, and you could say this with a lot of teams. They had a lot of games that could have gone either way. Shouldn't have lost to the Packers in week 1.
No way.
Right there.
A quarterback that was like a little tiny bit better than Mitch wins that game. Mitch did nothing that game.
I can think of several games where it was just like, oh my God, like I want to jump through this.
So
wall.
who's the quarterback at the end of the year?
For the Bears? Mitch.
Okay. So you think Mitch wins the job over Foles? Or do you think Foles gets hurt?
What I imagine happens, if I'm being completely honest, defense is going to win us another 2 or 3 games like they did last year, and the year before, and the year before that, and the year before that. It's literally all they've ever done since 1985.
Even in 1985?
I think what's going to happen is they're going to start off, and it's going to be one of those like Nick Foles barely wins the job. They're going to start off, I can't remember their schedule off the top of my head, and I'm not going to pull it up right now, but start off 2-2, 2-3, something like that. Mitch comes in and they say, I think the first few games, or it's a gauntlet if I'm remembering right. I know they've got the Packers, they've got the Lions.
The Lions, and then they play the Giants. That's a win. Then Falcons, Colts, Buccaneers, Panthers.
Okay, so and then their bye is what, week 7?
I don't know. I don't know when the bye is.
Week 7. So if they go into the bye sitting at 3-4, 2-5, that type of thing, because I believe their bye is in week 7 or 8, if I'm remembering right. I'm about to look like an idiot if that's not the case, but. All of that to be said, I think that something is going to happen. Nick is not going to play as well as he should.
The bye is on November 22nd.
Oh, so that's going to be week 9, I think, is what that is, because that's Thanksgiving. Yeah, I think that's Thanksgiving Day this year. Actually, that sucks. Usually they play the past couple of years. It's
week
Lions,
11, but that's a really late bye week.
Well, I look like an idiot. I thought it was 7, then I said 9. Now it's 11.
I didn't know. I had to look it up, so it's no big deal.
All that to be said, I think Mitch at the end of the year, and Mitch is going to lead them to the playoffs. I firmly believe that, and I don't know why. Again, I don't know why. He's shown me nothing. He has shown me nothing, but I feel like. I don't know. I just have some hope. Maybe it's false hope. It probably is.
I mean, I have hope that Cam Newton and Jarrett Stidham are both great quarterbacks. So, yeah,
exactly. You have to have hope. What is sports without a little bit of hope? So, I'm going to let you kind of talk about this because we actually both share the same executive of the year. But who is the executive of the year?
If you disagree, then I'm going to say you're wrong, because the team that has honestly did the most with no money would be the Chiefs with Brett Veach. Now, he had $177 in cap space at the beginning of the year. In the meantime, he has re-signed Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, I think, and Travis Kelce.
Yep.
None of those players are cheap. All of them are super expensive. And I mean, Patrick Mahomes helped out with, like, even though he got to sign a $500 million deal, he still helped out with the salary cap. And I mean, he's just built that team perfectly. I mean, they have great wide receivers, the fastest wide receivers in the NFL. They drafted a steal of a running back in this last draft. Patrick Mahomes was I mean, the defense, they're not going to be the greatest. I'll give you that, but they still have Matthew.
When you have a team that can put up 50 points,
it means a little bit less. And Chris Jones, their defense actually got some stops last year late in the season. So if they can keep on pulling that, yeah, I mean, they can still get some. They can still do some damage on defense, but everyone knows the offense is going to win, and that offense is stacked. The only loss due to an opt-out was one of the offensive line, I think the left tackle,
Laurent Duvernay-Tardif. Yes, he is an MD. He is their right tackle. Eric Fisher's their left tackle. But yeah,
so that's going to hurt.
Yep.
But I don't think the team will notice too much. But I do want to say one thing that I do not like about Patrick Mahomes is his pre-snap reads suck, and he bails himself out with his mobility a lot of the times and crazy throws. I don't think he's a super accurate quarterback, but still, he's a great quarterback.
Who does that sound like? That sounds a lot like Colin Kaepernick.
I don't completely agree with that, because
Colin
Kaepernick, his throws were way worse than Patrick Mahomes, and he relied on his mobility a little bit more, but it's not terrible. I'm not going to give you this one, though, because Colin Kaepernick, I don't care what you say, he was not a good quarterback. The only reason he got the job was because he made Packers look like they're high schoolers. For some reason, Packers was like, oh my God, a quarterback can run? Never seen it before. And yeah.
Yeah, not like Randall Cunningham had been alive or Mike Vick or anything like that. But no, I mean, I agree. I mean, seriously, with the executive of the year, I don't think that there's anybody else that you could even remotely miss me with Stephen Jones, because he didn't sign his quarterback to a long-term deal. I like the fact that he didn't sign his quarterback to a long-term deal, even though I do still think that is
You're there's so many like.
Yeah,
you think he's going to be MVP? You don't think he's worth that much money? Come on now.
I don't think Patrick Mahomes is worth $38 million.
I do.
I just don't. Well, market dictates it. What did I say? If the market dictates that a box, literally a box, a cardboard box in California that you can live in is worth $1.5 million, would you buy it?
If that box wins me a Super Bowl,
I'm not doing. So you would have paid Trent Dilfer at the time the equivalent of $40 million a year?
No, Trent Dilfer can't play quarterback. Patrick Mahomes can.
I'm not paying quarterbacks that kind of money. I'm just not doing
this.
I'm just not.
I wish I could maybe if I reincarnated or something, I would be a GM in my next life and just build a super team, and then Hunter would be like, "Oh my God, he was right all this time."
That's good. Who do you have as your offensive player of the year?
It's Christian McCaffrey, and just because he's a do everything in running back, I don't think they'll give the offensive player of the year to a quarterback and MVP. I mean, if they do it sometimes, but I don't think they will this year. And with Teddy Bridgewater, I think it pulls a little bit of notice off of McCaffrey, so I think he'll kind of feast a little bit more, and he'll I mean, I don't want to say like all together his rushing and pass receiving yards, I think it will push him over.
Do we need to agree on everything? I mean, I got you. I know I'll put somebody else down, but yeah. I mean, he's freaking Christian McCaffrey, the second best running back in the NFL.
He's a great running back. I mean, you think because
offensive player of the year, Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, literally nothing more to it. Who's the defensive player of the year?
Well, I've kind of been going back and forth with this for a while. I had Aaron Donald, but then I was like, he's had it a couple times, and I don't know. But I think this year it'll go to Tre'Davious White. He was very close to getting it last year ahead of Gilmore. Gilmore just notched him up a little bit more, and I think the defensive backfield played a lot better than the Bills. Now I think he had like 3 less pass defenses, but he had 1 sack, and I mean he had 6 interceptions, 17 pass defenses, and I think he was probably the second best corner last year. He's showing up. He's helping that Bills defense a lot.
Yeah, no, he is. That's one of the more criminally underrated teams, much less defenses, much less defensive backfields.
It's just history.
And in the league, it is. I don't disagree with that one. The dude, he showed last year he was legit, and only his 3rd year in the league, by the way. But yeah, I mean, throw him on your number one, and I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to hold him to nothing. But when you can hold number one receivers to 30, 40, 50 yards, that's a very, very, very successful day at the office, and that's a very, very, very good cornerback. Tre'Davious White, I think at the end of the day, at the end of the year, I should say, depending upon how Stephon looks this year, I think we could be having a conversation next year of Tre'Davious White may be the best defensive A player in the league, and B, he's the best cornerback in the league. I mean, the dude, if he was in a much bigger market, everybody would know who he is. Everybody. Now
he is underrated for sure.
He's so underrated. The dude is a beast. Another guy who this guy's my defensive player of the year. I don't even want to say this is a homer pick. I really don't, because
it's only a homer pick because you're saying it, but it's not out of reality. It's understandable.
It's not a homer pick. It's not a homer pick. Khalil freaking Mack.
He was good 3 years ago.
There is not. Oh my God! Get out of here. Sacks are an overrated stat, Gabe.
He doesn't do anything else.
Go watch.
He gives up on his team. Yeah.
I'm about to quit. I'm about to just say, take this crap over, finish this 20 minutes, and be done. I'm going to get off. I'm going to go shower. I'm going to watch the Celtics. I'm about to just say, Gabe, you're done. You just said he gave up on his team. Wouldn't you have given up if you had Mitch Trubisky as your quarterback? Like, even had he actually given up on the team, would you have blamed him?
Oh, no, I don't. Not
You've been like,
changed.
bro,
I honestly think
bro.
they fought as much as they can. And then after a while, after you're on defense for 45 minutes of a game, you're just like, the offense won't help us, so we're done.
Screw it. Yeah,
There's no point.
No, Khalil Mack is the dude is a monster, y'all. He is just a monster. I think he's going to have a quote unquote bounce back year from a stat perspective. And again, at the end of the day, awards, again, we've said this, we're beating a dead horse. They are a stat race, basically. And I think if we can look up and we can sit here and say, Khalil Mack, I believe, last year had 13 sacks. But if we can look up and he's sitting at 17, 18, 19, and another 7, 8, 9, 10 forced fumbles, and then recoveries and maybe a couple defensive touchdowns, we may be looking at your defensive player of the year for the 2020-2021 NFL season, because the dude is just that good. And I think the thing with him is people always want to, he will be followed because of what the Bears gave up to get him. And the Bears haven't looked bad in giving that up for him, by the way. Let's go ahead and put that out there. And people just don't recognize just how good he is. But the dude, anybody who knows football, anybody who watches football, the dude is a monster. He just is.
I think one thing with him, I mean, he had 45 pressures and 8.5 sacks, which is a down year for him. But
he was triple teamed every freaking snap, especially with Robert Quinn opposite him this upcoming year. You see what Robert Quinn did with DeMarcus Lawrence, and with all due respect to DeMarcus Lawrence, that dude couldn't hold Khalil Mack's jockstrap. Khalil Mack opposite Robert Quinn. Whew.
One thing the Bears did their defense wasn't as great as they were 2 years ago, but you're on a scale of
that's not the truth.
Yes, it is. The 2 years ago, that Bears defense was one of the. I mean, they were just dangerous. They were just super good, and they were good last year. I mean, they were still top 5 defense last year. They just. I mean, they needed an offense. They need something.
That's the issue
to help them. But whenever you're looking at a defense, it's hard to look at them without looking at the whole team together. So their numbers are going to look down just because the offense sucked so bad. Like that Bears offense was god awful. If they needed to get 5 yards, that wasn't going to happen. And that's similar to the Patriots last year.
If they needed to get 1 yard, 5 yards is a complete overkill. If they needed one, this is not a hyperbole, y'all. If they needed 1 yard, the guy that Matt Nagy was going to call in was no one else but Tariq Cohen. He was going to line up a guy that is 5'9", 165 pounds, in an I formation with no fullback. The fullback was Ryan Nail, who is actually our 4th string running back. He's going to line him up in front of him. By the way, a running back blocking for a guy that's like 3 feet tall, like 5 pounds, and he expects him to get a yard.
Welcome to the coach of the year that Hunter thinks.
The offense was just atrocious last year, but enough of that. I think literally everybody. I believe even Ray Charles can see that this next guy is going to be the rookie of the year. I mean, do we even need to go into who the rookie of the year is? Just tell the people.
The one, the only, Joe Burrow. And he has been showing up in practice. All of his teammates love him. All of his throws look good. I mean, he's going to go through some growing pains like any quarterback. But honestly, this is probably one of the easiest selections in a while. I mean, he's number 1 pick. There's no way Chase Young's going to get it on that Redskins team.
No way.
And it's a gimme.
Yeah. If you think anybody else wins it, we got to talk. Cowboy fans, get out of here. CeeDee Lamb ain't winning it. He would literally have to go off for 1,600 yards and 15 touchdowns to win it.
Not with Cooper and Gallup on the field. And Zeke.
Exactly. And Zeke and Blake Jarwin. It ain't going to happen. And with the fact that Dak's going to be running the ball more this year, yeah, no, just get out of here.
I don't think CD will go over 1,000 yards. So
it's going to be interesting. I think
he'll be in the 600 to 800 range.
If he's that low, it's because he has a boatload of touchdowns.
No, I mean, I just think you have Cooper, Gallup, Zeke. I mean, I think Zeke's going to get 15 touchdowns or 12 touchdowns or whatever. I just think you can't. Not everyone can eat. Like in basketball, there's only one. There's only one basketball. You can't. If you have 5 superstars, only one of them is going to be actually having the basketball
championship.
Maybe
you're going to win a championship if you have 5 superstars.
Tell that to the Lakers. Anyways, go on.
The Lakers have 2 superstars. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but they also
thank you. Are we really going to get into a basketball conversation on a football
basketball
podcast?
Sucks.
And are you really going to get into? But no, Gabe. I again, like I said, y'all, rookie of the year is Joe Burrow. There's no question. Give us the seedings. We don't even really have to go by who's going to win the each division. Give us the seedings of the AFC. Give us the seedings of the NFC, and then I'll piggyback off.
Let's go to the NFC first. And I have largely due to Tom Brady, but I have Buccaneers 1, Cowboys
shocker,
Cowboys 2, Packers 3, Cardinals 4. They're going to win that division. 49ers 5 and Saints 6. Yeah.
If this was at the end, regardless of, I'm not talking necessarily seedings. I mean, we probably should, but like if these are the 6 playoff teams at the end of the year in the NFC, I'm not going to be surprised.
The only shock that most people are going to think would be Cardinals.
Cardinals, yeah.
But I have him as an MVP. I can't keep him out.
If he's the MVP, they've made the playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs, he's not the MVP.
Yep.
Because they don't give the MVP to guys won on 6 and 10 teams. I mean, they just don't do that. So my NFC seedings are the Dallas Cowboys number 1, the Niners 2, Bucks 3. I had to do this. The Bears 4, the Saints 5, and the Packers 6. So literally the only change is the Bears in place of the Cardinals and some of the seedings. But besides that, I think at the end of the day, everybody knows, oh my God, you know who I forgot about? Man, it just hit me. Ooh, that's a nasty division, but I think that the Packers are good too. We both missed this, and this literally just came to me. We both missed the Seahawks.
No, I didn't miss them. It was intentional. I think the Cardinals are going to win that division. To do that, they're going to have to at least split with the Seahawks, and then I think the 49ers are a better team than the Seahawks. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I almost put Seahawks as the second wild card, but 3 in one division is tough. So I think Saints are going to have more wins.
I think it's going to be
that offensive line really, still sucks.
They still got Russ Wilson. I mean, my goodness. But no, I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, that's horrible. That's a horrible list because you don't have the Seahawks on it. Like, no, I'm not. That's just kind of grasping at straws. What are your AFC? What does the AFC seedings look like?
I mean, honestly, there's no surprises. But we have the Chiefs, Ravens, Patriots, Texans, Bills, Steelers. I think the Patriots and Bills records going to be they're going to be very similar, and I think the Steelers and Ravens records are going to be super similar. And then I think the Chiefs and Texans are just going to win their divisions, like flat out.
Yeah, the Steelers. You're hoping from a bounce back year. I mean, I say bounce back year, even though he got hurt in the first quarter of the first game. But you're hoping from a healthy Ben Roethlisberger coming back and Juju Smith-Schuster actually deciding to be a number 1 receiver and stop just talking like he is one.
It doesn't really matter as long as Big Ben comes back a little bit like himself. That defense.
I mean, they almost made the playoffs with Devlin Hodges for crying out loud last year.
That defense is good. Underrated because of a bad quarterback.
TJ Watt, one of the best defensive ends in the league.
They better pay him.
Minka Fitzpatrick, great. Ooh, doggy. That is a good team.
They got to pay TJ's. ASAP.
That's a really good team. My seedings: Texans number 1, Chiefs 2, Ravens 3, Pats 4, Bills 5. And the shock, but if y'all been listening since episode 1, it's really not a shock because y'all know I'm super high on them. The Denver Broncos. John Elway has quietly put together a really good team there. He finally got a halfway decent quarterback. He's no longer hoping to ride the coattails of Peyton Manning's corpse to another Super Bowl. So, yeah, I think Drew Lock, Cortland Sutton, Noah Fant. Yeah, I think that's going to be a pretty dang good team.
I don't disagree with that. I just think Lock, he hasn't played a whole season yet. They have a really young offense, and I don't think they'll get over that. I mean, that division's so. They're not going to beat the Chiefs. So,
and then the Chargers and Raiders. Yeah. I mean, the Raiders are either going to be really good this year. Let's say really good. They're either going to be good this year or they're going to be really bad.
A hot take.
There is no ands, ifs, or buts about it. I mean, Mike Mayock quietly has put together a halfway decent roster in his first 2 years there, but yeah, I'm not high.
Well, they're going to have to win the most games for a wild card because Chiefs are going to win that division unless Mahomes gets hurt or gets COVID and out for half the year. The Chiefs are going to win that division.
It goes back to if Patrick Mahomes catches coronavirus, regardless of your thoughts on it, will the NFL make him not play? As a business, there's no way. There's just no way.
They have to. I mean,
they have to if it comes out that he has it. They have to if it comes out that he has it.
Yeah, it'll come out though. With how big, unless like COVID goes down a little bit in the media's eyes,
who's to say it can't be the flu though? And he tested. Who's to say it can't be the flu and he tested negative for coronavirus? But teams have never not lied before.
Look at it this way. Say Mahomes got it. The team didn't say anything, and then a lineman gets it and dies. Now, who do you think is going to be in trouble for that? You're thinking right now, oh, that's super unlikely, like almost 0%. But it's not 0% chance. There's a 0.1% chance that could actually happen. So you have to be worried about that. The Chiefs could. Do you think the Chiefs are going to? I mean, now if it's come playoff time and it's like that, I mean the NFL is talking about doing a bubble.
What's the difference? What's the difference between playoffs and the regular season?
Regular season games, a lot of those games don't matter. If he misses 2 weeks, his backup quarterback could. I mean, he can win 2 games.
I mean, hopefully, I'm not wishing that this man would get coronavirus or anything.
I don't think a lot of NFL players will.
I think it would be. I don't know. Like, I think that we're having a whole different conversation if he catches it. If I can learn how to talk, that would be interesting. That would be very interesting. So Gabe, who's your Super Bowl matchup? We're just gonna again. I know we're blazing through these playoff matchups, y'all, but who's your Super Bowl matchup? I'm very, very, very interested in this one.
I don't. It's tough. I honestly,
I see you changed your AFC to you changed it to kind of mirror mine.
Well, who do you have for yours? Oh yeah, I just think I don't know. I didn't honestly. I didn't want the Chiefs again. I don't think the Ravens will have an electric year as they did last year. I don't think the Patriots can get to AFC Championship game. So I picked the Texans. Now, would I be shocked if they didn't get it? No. But the Texans, they have a great quarterback, an okay coach, a good offense, good defense. I mean, I know they lost Hopkins, but they did get David Johnson. If he can kind of be himself, I think that team's kind of dangerous. Even if he's not, Will Fuller is still a good running wide receiver, and Brandon Cooks is a good wide receiver. So if they still have weapons, I just think this is a year to jump over the hump.
Who do you got in the NFC?
I forgot about that. NFC, I have to go Buccaneers. I mean, with an already good team, Winston threw 30 touchdowns, 30 picks, and the team was still in games. There's tons of shootouts. The defense is underrated. They get after the quarterback pretty good. and you added Tom Brady to one of the best offenses in the NFL and Gronk. So, I mean, I just think they'll put up points, and that defense will, I mean, they'll just attack quarterbacks.
Who do you got winning it?
Gotta go Bucks. I think the Bucks would dominate the Texans. If my championship round is correct, I think the Buccaneers. It would be the first time Tom Brady wins a Super Bowl scoring more than a touchdown. Besides the Falcons game.
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. Is basically the only way to say it. That wouldn't surprise me. I think the Bucs are going to go out there and just. What were you going to say? Go ahead.
I think it's by that I mean like I think it would be like a Seahawks and Broncos kind of Super Bowl. I think they would just be firing, just go. It would be it would kind of be like what the 49ers did to the Chiefs last year, but you weren't playing the team that could come back from any. The Chiefs last year could have came back from 50 points and win a game if they needed to.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. And the Bucs they're either going to severely underwhelm people, or they're just going to absolutely destroy everybody and leave everybody in their wake to like a 14-2, 15-1 record. They're either going to be like, why were they so bad? Or, yeah, that's exactly what we thought. And I know that's kind of a duh thing to say, but that team, whew, my goodness. We share the same AFC. Oh, they are stacked. They really are. We share the same AFC champ. I really do believe that the Texans, this is the year that they do it. I mean, because what people don't talk about is the fact that they were not up. They were spanking the Chiefs in I believe it was the second round of the playoffs last year, until Patrick Mahomes scored, I think, 28 unanswered. They were spanking the Chiefs. So I think that this year is the year that the Texans, Deshaun Watson, finally gets them over that hump. And I think that you're going to have, and I believe the Super Bowl is in Florida, if I'm remembering right. You were going to have an all-Texas matchup in the Super Bowl in Florida. The Dallas Cowboys are going to be the NFC champ. I am so high on the Dallas Cowboys this year, y'all, and I'm not a Dallas Cowboys fan. Yeah. I don't
coming from a guy that thinks Dak Prescott is not worth $30 million. He thinks he's going to lead the team to.
I said 35. I would pay him more than about 32. Yeah, $5 million is a lot. Is $5 million that much? Yeah, you want $1 or you want $5 million? Well, let's see real quick.
That's completely different. You're talking about $30 million or $35 million, and he probably makes $50 million from sponsorships alone on his day off.
Significant difference. I think Dak Prescott's going to lead them to the promised land, and I think he's going to go to Disney World like Troy Aikman said in 1992.
He's buying those tickets
when the Dallas Cowboys win.
The only way
2021 Super Bowl.
The only way Dak ever sniffs a Super Bowl is if he bought tickets to the game.
We're gonna see, Gabe. We're gonna see, man.
That Cowboys have been underwhelming people for the last 30 years, 20 years. I doubt that's going to change
since 1994. Yeah. But they finally have a good coach. They had Jason Garrett there for like 89 years.
That good coach had one of the greatest quarterbacks in this era, and he won.
Would you rather have Mike McCarthy or Jason Garrett?
Mike, all day, every day.
My point exactly. And this team was 13-3, should have made it to the NFC Championship game because Dez, by the way, still did catch it with Jason Garrett as their head coach.
But he didn't. So,
well, he did, but they ruled him incomplete. But all that's to say, Dallas Cowboys are going to be your Super Bowl champs in my eyes. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be your Super Bowl champs in Gabe's eyes. Gabe, dude, this episode got me jacked up for the season to start. I think it's like 23 days away.
I can't wait.
What else do you have to say?
No, I do want to say one thing. I've been watching a lot of Patriots camp videos and stuff, and Kyle Duggar is a player to watch for the Patriots. He was a second-round pick. He was pretty much they took him exactly where a lot of people thought he was going to go. He played in Division II college football. So, but he's like 6'1", 6'2", ran at 40 in 4.49 seconds. He's just a beast, and he's making tons of plays. And he's a one player that's sticking out to the Patriots camp.
In regards to the Bears, nobody cares about anything else besides the quarterback competition. Today is Wednesday, y'all. Y'all are hearing this tomorrow, Thursday, but on Wednesday there was no practice. Tuesday, Mitch Trubisky looked like the better quarterback, all reports were. But Monday, Nick Foles looked like the better quarterback, all reports were. So again, we're back here. We still don't know who the Chicago Bears quarterback is going to be, and the season is like 24 days away. But I have nothing else. Guys, like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe, and even donate on Patreon. It is $1, $2, or $10 a month. That is it. Oh, I lied. Gabe is telling me it's $2, $5, or $10. So we're asking y'all to like not have Starbucks for a day or not have Starbucks for 2 days. It's like super, super, super affordable. If y'all do that, we'll keep putting out this content. We'll keep putting out this content anyway. It just makes it a little bit easier to put it out when we are paid just a little bit of money. I'm not trying to become a millionaire off this. Neither is Gabe. If we could that'd be pretty awesome. But no, guys, we do this because we enjoy it. We hope y'all enjoy it too. We've heard great feedback lately from everybody, and we're just going to keep on continuing to grow. Thank you for listening to us on episode 8 of the 2-Minute Drill. We will be back next week. What is the topic? I don't know yet. Gabe, do you know yet?
Kyler Murray's winning MVP.
Well, I guess we're going to have a full 50-minute conversation about Kyler Murray winning MVP. But hopefully y'all enjoyed this, and we'll be talking to y'all later. Adios.